I get like a wide array of comments now. Like, I get like kind of a funny difference in comments. So, for example, I'll be in the gym with a pump training like biceps.
Yeah.
You know, something very visual. And I got the veiny arms, right? So then the arms are just like covered, you know, just I look way more jacked than I actually am. It's like me at my
veins
very best.
do that.
Yeah. So, and I'll have people say, "Oh man, are you like getting big again? You look fucking huge." And I'm like, no, just holding steady. And then I like go over to Emily's uncle and aunt's house.
Yeah.
And her uncle's like, "Man, you look slim. What are you, 225?"
Ow. Ow.
He's like, "You look amazing." He goes, "You look like an athlete." He goes, "You look like you could like, you know, do a whole bunch of stuff." Like, I don't know what he was saying, but
yeah,
it was kind of along those lines. He's like, "I know you're riding your bike and everything. You must feel great." Like, he was really excited. He was all like, he meant it as a compliment, right? He wasn't being
for sure.
Like, "Hey, what are you, 225? You look like you really downsized there."
Yeah,
it wasn't like that. It's not that type of relationship with her. He's not that type of uncle.
Yeah.
That would be great if he was.
Some people have in-laws like that. I can see Dusty having an in-law like that at one point, you know.
You're looking kind of skinny.
I had
to like feed it back to him a little bit.
No, I actually had that, but it was an unintentional thing that was like the most ruthless thing ever. My first wife, I went to her grandmother's house, and I had gotten I think I'd got my shoulder surgery or something, and I was down in size, but like not terrible. You know, at least I didn't think so until I saw her.
Yeah.
And I walked in. She goes, "Oh my God, did you get sick? You look awful." I mean, I was like, I just got the wind knocked out of me. She's just like, she literally said, "You look awful." She goes, "You're so small." Just poured it on. And I'm like,
poured it on.
Wow, that hurt.
That's funny.
And I wasn't like, you know how it is now, Ron. Like if somebody said that to you now, like, A, you don't care.
Yeah.
And whatever. But when you're like still in it and you're trying to get big again, I mean, I don't think I ever got my ass beat that bad in my life. And I'll take some beatings.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, no, I had, it was the other one. It was "Oh man, you look great. What do you weigh? 225?
You're slim."
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
You know who went off on Ron was Rob Bailey. When he saw you, he was like, "Holy shit, you look good." He was like super amped for how you looked.
Did I tell you what I said to him at the Olympia?
I think you mentioned it on the show. Yeah, but other people might not have heard
did I?
it. Yeah, say it. Tell us.
I was here.
I can't remember. I don't want to repeat it.
No, say it because others might not have heard it.
He comes up to me. Rob Bailey comes up to me, puts his arm around me, and he goes, "God damn." He goes, "You look fucking great." And I go, "I was going to say that you look fucking rich."
You did. Now I remember, and that's so awesome. And he lost it.
He just laughed. I go, "I was just going to say that you look fucking rich." And he goes, and he just laughed. Yeah.
Oh, that's good shit.
He's a funny guy, man. So what do we got? We got to like, share, subscribe, comment nicely,
and ring the bell.
And
you made me do the and again.
Good hands, Dusty.
Sorry,
nice
because I added the little.
Yeah,
you said nicely, so you didn't
nicely,
say and.
Which was my little. Yeah,
yeah.
So there was
I get it.
I guess there
You
was a
only have
cadence
so many
problem.
words.
My computer didn't handle that well. You know, I got to remind everybody too. IamMutant.com. Go on IamMutant.com. Order some protein. Order some creatine. Order some aminos, EAAs, the gear. Order the gear. You got to be on the gear.
Got to
be on the gear. And yeah. Got to be on the gear and use our codes BigRon20 or Dusty20, and we don't mind taking turns.
No, you can rotate. We can
there you go.
Be Eskimo brothers with your sales.
Yeah, Dusty's room
There's
key.
people Googling
my room
right
key.
now.
Yeah. Eskimo brother.
There's some Googling going on.
Urban Dictionary.
What does that mean?
Eskimo brother. Yeah. That's funny. Oh
Always
man,
awkward to find that out.
if we could only have an episode about all the Eskimo brothers that we know of.
There's a lot of them in bodybuilding. There's that.
Just the ones we know of is too many.
A lot of guys in bodybuilding are like kind of related.
Yeah.
They're like half the Olympia lineup. They all bang the same chicks. I've said too much.
Up next on It's Just Bodybuilding.
God, the views would shoot through the roof if we had guests on. Would we have the athletes or just the whole? Wait, was that allowed? Can I say?
So can we have a brief? I don't know if I should even bring this up.
Uh-oh.
Yes, we have a brief. So everybody's got a story, and I don't mean a story like you personally with her. I just mean everyone knows of, the kind of the first muscle groupie they knew.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone kind of remembers. Like I remember being a young bodybuilder, like 17, 18, 19, and I'm going to bodybuilding shows, watching shows, Australian nationals, even watching a lot of shows. And Canadian nationals I'd already been to watch, lots of provincial shows, and which is like a state show, right? And you become aware that there's some girls that only date competitive bodybuilders.
True.
Right? And you're like, oh, okay, that's her thing. That's just a thing. And everyone remembers, the first ones that they knew of, and the first one they got hit on by. Oh yeah, everyone remembers. Everyone's got their story. Dusty, do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, and I remember more specific, so I can actually use this one because I don't know this person's name, which is perfect. But I remember when I was getting ready for my first show, and I went to the place to make my trunks, right? And they only had like one area where you could go in and try on your suit. It's just one of those ones where you like pull the curtain over and you go behind it and you change and you come out.
Yeah.
And so I walk in and I'm just hanging out waiting for Yvonne to help me. And there's a girl in there trying on, like getting her suit. So she's in front of me. And so Yvonne gives her suit and she's holding it. She's talking to me. She's like, I'm trying to decide if I wanted the red or the blue. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then she proceeds to go to where you change, but she doesn't close the curtain.
Huh. Okay.
Just changes.
We're all competitors here,
This is the greatest thing I've ever gotten into in my life. And that was the beginning. Then I started to realize that this is just how it works. From then on, it became like, I remember being like shocked. And I was never shocked again after that because it just became normal. I was like, got it. This is the lack of, what'd you call it? Value we have. Oh boy, Harvey's pissed.
Value. It's a different approach, I think, to the human body. You know what I mean?
Off. I muted it when he wasn't barking, then I unmuted it to yell, and this just didn't work out this time. I'm off my fucking game.
It's all right.
That's funny.
It's a new year.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
New me.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Yes.
So yes, Ron, yeah. I enjoy those moments of realization and seeing. In hockey, they call them puck bunnies, but they didn't really have like a name for them in bodybuilding.
I always called them muscle groupies.
Huh.
I thought that was a thing. And it was just always a thing. And that's just like rock star chicks. It's like chicks that hang out at concerts and bang rock stars, right?
This is a topic I don't think has ever been on the channel before. Like you're breaking new ground.
That's not the same though. That's not the same because I understand rock star groupies. I get it. Why the fuck would you want to be the broke ass bodybuilder? I don't get that. Rock star, I get. Like I'm like, why? I have like $17, right?
Yeah.
And I've got an $18 over the limit credit card now. No.
That's why when you're like,
I got a lot of growth.
Like, let's just say theoretically you're a 19-year-old bodybuilder and you're driving a $600 car.
Yeah.
And you're bouncing at a bar, and there's like a 30-year-old chick at the gym who's like pretty goddamn hot, and she just ruthlessly wants to fuck you constantly. And you're like, well, it's not my car. It's not my job. She's
Start
really
doing
into
the math.
bodybuilders. Yeah. I'm just saying. And then it's the girl that's banged all the bodybuilders, right? It's the girl that bangs the pros when they come into town back in the day. You know, you'd get a pro to come into town to be a big deal.
Yeah.
That would be the girl that would like put his 10 on for him. Like, it's like this, it was this whole thing. Like go for it, Dusty. Yeah.
I'm just happy we went here. That's
Did
all
a few
I'm
guest
gonna say.
postings, did you, Dusty?
Oh God. Just saying, I'm happy to have been a part of this. But I'm gonna leave it there. I always had really good tan.
Don't say a good tan. Yeah.
Dedicated to the
Anyways.
craft is all I'm saying.
Anyways,
Okay,
I'm not
so-
going to throw. I don't want to go on too long. I don't want to start throwing people under the bus with my stories.
We got one out
Start
of it,
using
though. That was
things
good.
like
That theoretical
we gotta get Scott in on
19-year-old
this.
bodybuilder who's bouncing.
Well, yeah, there might be someone
Scott
out there
likes
like
to-
that.
Scott likes to go like with a theoretical, like he'll go theoretically, John Smith from Ontario.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, did you say his first and last name? Oh shit.
Yeah, he's not a very good covert storyteller.
That's why I'm letting you guys do it. You guys are breaking new ground here on the channel. That's what you're doing.
Well, I hope that young man has grown up to be a well-adjusted contributor
Podcaster.
to society and possibly podcaster. Hey.
/ gym owner.
And it might explain, actually, that might explain a lot.
Scott, that was a fucking amazing little Oh, Scott went big with that little 3 words.
We all knew who he was talking about.
Hey, okay.
Hypothetically, 19 years old, 6'2", named Ron Partlow. He hadn't earned his big yet, but he got it that night.
Why does this cougar that bangs all the bodybuilders want to bang me? I have no idea why she wants to bang me.
It's your personality.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Nature is metal, my friend. Nature is metal.
Okay. All I'll say, thank God for predators.
It's a thing.
Right? There has to be some predators out there to keep the water moving, keep things stirred up. You know what I mean? Keep everybody else on their toes.
I've got so many things to say that I'm actually holding back for once. I'm like, no. Don't do this. Don't do this.
Okay.
Okay, so what's our topic of the show besides predators and cougars?
Well, we had a thing.
We did have a thing.
Oh, we did. That's right. Ron had a thing.
We had I thought it was actually maybe even gonna be like, you guys might have thought I was joking because it was so cliche. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought maybe you thought I was sending like a list of the most cliche possible topics because they're like goals for the new year, best things to focus on in 2023, how we spent our New Year's Eve, and predictions for 2023. Like, I literally had no original ideas at all. I just went with like the 4, first
You
things,
should write a movie.
most vanilla things off my mind. Okay.
I like all of them, though, because, I think I want to know those things. I mean, I would like to know.
Okay, well, let's do how we spent our New Year's. Let's start there. Let's dazzle everybody with how exciting. Scott, I see Scott watching a militia movie cleaning a gun.
No, there was none of that. Actually, so, Victoria got sick at the Olympia. Then she got better.
Right.
And she was testing negative for the bug. And she's doing okay. And then Thursday, which is several days after she's been testing negative, I was like, you know what? I don't feel real good. And so I take my temperature and it's up. And guess what? I tested positive. So anyway, I actually already kicked it. So that's freaking awesome. As of this morning, I was negative again. But New Year's Eve, I think we went to bed at like 9:30, which she's been really tired too. So that's our exciting time. What did we watch? I got her into Letterkenny. I've been teaching her about her people. She never watched that show before. So we've been watching that. And we watched the end of Wednesday, which was such a good show. I can't wait.
I
for
liked
season
Wednesday.
2. That was so good. That was it. That was really it. And I thought of you, Ron, because we did get woken up at midnight due to all the fireworks that were going off. And our little dog, the little miniature schnauzer, was terrified. And she had to crawl up in my arms and hide her face in my armpit. And she was like literally just shaking. And, she got over it, went to sleep. But that was
the gun range.
That was our night.
Yeah.
That was it. It was boring.
Yeah.
Not worth a podcast,
amazing.
put it that way.
No.
What about you, Ron?
What about Dusty? I was just going to say you. Well, you want? Okay, you go next.
Okay. Well, I had a stressful night, and I'll tell you why. Because Georgia played, and they're in the playoffs, and if they win, they go to the national championship. I'm not really worried about it. They're playing Ohio State. Let me tell you where shit went sideways. Right before we leave to go to the bar, I go to the cigar bar. I have them reserved my table, so I got good seats. Nikki goes, I don't have a good feeling about the game tonight.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, what the fuck says that? What is wrong with you? And she's done this to me twice, Ron. You'll understand this. One time, I'm leaving the house with one of the girls, and I was like, all right, I'll see you. She goes, okay, don't get in a car accident. And I'm like, I looked at her. I'm like, I don't know if we can leave now. Like, you literally just put a spell on us.
Yeah. Hope you don't die today.
Yeah, I mean, literally. So I'm looking at her and I go, you can't say that.
Yeah.
You can't say that. So we go to the bar, we're watching the game, and I'll fast forward this part because most people who actually give a shit already know what happened. But we sucked so fucking bad because of Nikki. Only because of Nikki.
Probably.
Like, literally, Kirby Smart actually texted me. He said, tell that fucking woman to keep her mouth shut next time. That's the coach.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is she, as they're sucking, which I imagine was a painful process of over an hour at least.
It's brutal. It's
okay.
Brutal.
So is she aware that she's caused this during that time?
Well, she was
aware to it. Is she apologizing profusely,
or is she like, I told you,
denying
so?
it? You know? Yeah, or is she like, hey, I told you so. It's just a premonition I had.
It's a great question, Ron.
So she looks at me and she goes, I just had a feeling. And then I just made an announcement to everyone there because everyone's there is wanting my team to win. I go, this is Nikki's fault. Here's what she fucking said today. So I say it. Then I told them about the don't get in a car accident situation also. God. And they all agreed that this was her fault. But fast forward to the important part. Somehow, some way, we have 2 drives at the end of the game and we end up 1 point.
Really?
They drive down the field, and now they're kicking a field goal with like 4 seconds left or something, right? Simultaneously, it's almost midnight. And I mean like almost midnight. Like they brought us all of our champagne, right? So they go for the kick. The guy shanks it so far left, it looks like I kicked it. So we win. There's a loud cheer in the room. And then we hear 5, 4, we grab the champagne, hit the toast, have the drink, go home. I still kick Nikki out of the house. She doesn't live here anymore. Yeah. But other than that, it was a good night.
So in other words, it turned out to be a crazy fucking game where they came back.
Oh, it was a great game. And my other Ron, whose name is Rob, literally was calling the game the whole time. He's just one of those guys. He goes, we're fine. This game's in the bag. We're down 14 with like 8 minutes left, and we suck. And I'm like, we're fine. We drive down the field, get a touchdown. He goes, we're going to go for a 2-point conversion now and get it. They do that. So we were down 14. We do a 2-point conversion. Now I'm looking at him. I'm like, keep talking. Keep going.
Right.
The whole time. And then when they're going to kick their field goal, which was a feasible field goal, he goes, he's going to miss. He's going to shank it bad. It's too much pressure. And then the dude, like, literally, it was terrible. So,
oh man,
it was actually a very good night. But so to give you an idea, like when I used to play sports, I never felt nerves. I'm sure you know this, Ron. Like you could be in the biggest play, you were totally fine. Like I can't even. I mean, the amount of things that have happened when I was playing that were just no big deal. I'm watching this game. They go to hand me the champagne. My hands are shaking so bad I spill some of them, putting my fucking champagne glasses down. I'm like, you can't just hand a nervous old man champagne during a game. Jesus. I'm not young anymore. So, but yes, it turned out fantastic. So, and I was up till midnight, which was not the plan.
You had definitely had an actual New Year's Eve, sort of. You like left the house and shit.
And it was like the whole crescendo with the countdown.
Yeah,
at the end of the
like
game.
eventful.
Yeah,
you
like
had, and then you had. That's another thing is you had like a New Year's Eve, like, you know, like we I don't even know if we noticed that it was midnight at any point.
So you
I
did
think
stay
we
up.
Finished watching. Yeah, we stayed up. We just watched a movie and shit, or we watched some like episodes. We banged out some episodes, and we got 3 dogs right now. We're dog sitting.
Oh yeah.
So we got these 2 crazy dash hounds here now with Jedi, and he doesn't really like the one because the one's kind of an asshole. And there's this. It's just a lot of work. Yeah. They're like a lot of work. So we had to stay home because of the fireworks and shit. We had, we thought we better stay home and keep the TV turned up loud. So we just like had some food, ordered some food and shit. But it was like we didn't even have a New Year's. You know what I mean? Like we like went to go to bed. We're like, oh, it's 12:30. Like it's the New Year. Just right through it. That sort of thing. So yeah, it was just uneventful, taking care of dogs, a lot of dogs crawling on us and hanging out, and it was a dog fest.
Oh shit. Why did everybody leave? Well, that was fucking weird.
Yeah, well, I thought you might have lost your power again.
No. It's just the same thing that happened last time. That was weird. But we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just telling boring New Year's Eve. That's what it was. Yeah. Actually,
I had an important question. And I was just about to ask, what are the dogs' names?
Parker and Lulu.
Parker and Lulu. How old are they?
Which one's the asshole? Parker?
Parker.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's the youngest.
Sense. How old are they?
They're 3 and 4.
Okay. So they're not puppies anymore.
No. Do you want to see them?
Yeah, of course we do.
Okay. Well, here's Lulu. Lulu comes to see me because Lulu's my girl.
I like dachshunds. Oh,
Lulu's a sweet hair.
Long hair, yeah.
Look at her.
What up, girl?
Lulu's a sweet girl.
She looks like a sweet dog. Aw.
Yeah.
How chill she is.
Yeah, I like her.
Oh, yeah. So this was a good decision bringing Lulu in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lulu's a pretty girl. And she likes to just like lay and get pet. She's like a real like lay around type of a dog.
Yeah.
So she's a little spoiled though, I think. But anyways, that's
Lulu. She would do the whole podcast right there.
She would. She would.
Yeah.
She's like, let's just do this.
She's a real nice dog, real chill, So
she has to make up for her brother.
She's laying on my
lap. I told you.
So her brother's like super fucking needy.
Yeah.
And always wants to be like right in your face. But that's Emily's problem because Emily's like, he's obsessed with her.
Huh.
Fucking crazy. Like, and Jedi's jealous. So like, Jedi's like a little pissed off, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, it's a good time. Just walking them's like a lot of work. I'm like one of those crazy dog dads in the park with 3 leashes and fucking bags of poop everywhere and shit. You should see me. It's fucking hilarious. It's like, Dusty's got those 2 little dogs, but their poops are so fucking tiny. He can probably get away with not picking half of them up if they're in like the dirt or something. But, these dogs are all 15, 16 pounds, so like you got to pick their shit up and it's just hilarious.
I just see you walking with these 3 little dogs. Yeah. It's so great.
3 bags of shit. Trying to find the nearest garbage can. Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, I'm very grateful for the backyard now. Like just being able to
that's
open
the thing,
the door.
right?
is
I know.
beautiful. It's so good. And Harvey would live out there if you'd let him. Like, you know, like they say, like, oh, let your dogs in the house. I have to make him come in the house.
Yeah.
Right.
He just wants to hang. I'm like, you can't be outside all day. It's cold. Get your ass in here.
There's no like, you don't have any worries. Like you're like here, if you have a big backyard, technically you should kind of pay a lot of attention because like eagles and shit have grabbed dogs. Like the
Yeah.
because like there's lots of eagles and giant hawks around here and like predatory birds, right?
Yeah.
And they'll fucking grab your dog, take it up 150 feet and drop it.
Yep.
And then go down and eat it. You know?
That's
so
wild.
like they're really fucking brutal.
That happened
But that happens
around
to
here.
people.
I can't remember where it was. I wanted to say it was around here, but it wasn't. I heard it on a radio show. And it was like this old poodle. Some lady's old poodle, like senior poodle. And I can't remember how old, but I'll make up a number, like 17, 17-year-old poodle.
Oh, right.
Like all blind and stuff. Walking around the backyard, got swooped up by a bird, the hawk or something. The hawk ended up traveling with it like 3 blocks, dropped it from like 50 feet. The dog was fine. Yeah. The dog was completely fine. Like didn't get hurt, but just like didn't know where it was either. It just like went for a ride. They had a news story on it. It was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just went for a spin.
Crazy.
Yeah. Imagine that.
He must have
Next
bounced
time,
off
bring
a
the
garbage
fucking dog
bag or
back.
something.
Something. Yeah.
Trampoline.
Like, landed on like an angled shed
Trampoline.
or something. Trampoline.
Boop, on the ground.
That's amazing.
Oh,
Oh
man.
God.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's crazy.
Predatory birds are cool, though.
They are.
Okay, so that was our New Year's Eve.
Yes.
What's been going on in bodybuilding this week, Dusty? What do you think?
In body, like in the actual bodybuilding? In their bodybuilding?
Yeah. Well, they got no more points. We got no more
there's
points.
that.
Yeah.
Got to
I
win a
think that's-
show. Is there anybody?
What are they
that
doing?
wouldn't
If,
have been-
what are they doing about? What are they doing about the show? If the winner of a show already won, does second place get it or no?
Oh,
Good question.
I didn't see that. That's
Because I
been the
remember how
small
they used to
print
do
somewhere.
that. They used to give it backwards. Like, okay, well, if first place has already won, second place gets it. I wonder. Because I didn't have an issue with the Olympia being huge. You know what I mean? Like,
Did you
I
see?
guess I just feel like you go to see a show. So I think if there's 20 great bodybuilders on the stage, I'm okay that there's a guy getting 20th because he's still fucking
Right.
awesome.
Right. Did you see the video of Jay Cutler talking about how long the show was and how
No.
long everyone had to wait?
What did he say?
No.
Yeah, I think it was on his podcast, but Milos was on. They were all kind of roundtable talking, and Jay like was swearing. He's like, "It was fucking bullshit. This is fucking bodybuilding show. They made them, wait around. Fucking, there's no way that should have ever happened. This is bullshit. Like,
That is a
who
point.
cares?" And then they were like saying, "Oh well, if they put bodybuilding, earlier in the night, is everyone going to leave?" And then the argument was
Who
like,
cares?
well, who fucking cares? Let's let the economy of the business tell us what people want to pay for.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like,
That's
oh,
like-
Jesus. Like,
Remember when we
do
were
you
talking
think?
to an individual about the Arnold, and they were saying a similar thing. Everyone was freaking out because the Arnold dropped some of the female divisions, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, you got to support female bodybuilding." And his response was, "So how many of the Arnolds have you come to watch the female division we just got rid of?" And the guy's like, "Well, I've never been." And he's like,
Oh,
"That's the point. No one's coming to pay for it. So we can't just fund it because we want to, And I feel like that's how they should look at this. Like, I felt no shame in the fact that I did not go to prejudging because I didn't want to wait. I text Ron when I got done with a Vegas show and said, "What happened?" Because he was going to give me a review and he hadn't yet. And I was like, Ron's usually sending me shit right away. It wasn't over.
yeah.
Like, he's like, I don't know yet. It hasn't happened. I was like,
Oh,
what?
yeah.
Like, you went to the show like an hour and a half or two before I went to the Vegas show and was still going.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
You know, before all this even came up about the new system, when we were at the Olympia, Victoria and I were talking with Paul, Fuad's Paul.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about a different system. Victoria had an idea. I would love to freaking see this happen. Imagine if they had brackets. So everybody who wins a show or is qualified has to then compete in like a next level up, and they bracket in to like, because I mean, if you have like 60 guys in Classic, what if we did like a show with all those guys and bracketed that in to actually get into like the actual Olympia, where there's like, you almost the way we have like state level shows and then national level, junior national shows and national, that kind of thing. I think that would be cool.
Well, there
Like,
is something to be said for those. You have to qualify to qualify.
You qualify for a show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you'd like do.
So there'd be like another exciting show a few weeks earlier, or what?
Something like, it would have to be something like that. But imagine if you did all the open shows, every pro could enter, and then say like the top 3 guys there get bracketed up into the next level, and then those guys who win those shows, maybe there's only 3 of those per year or something, and then we could keep bracketing it down, because that I think would drive some excitement too. Like, does Brandon Curry make it to the next bracket? You know what I mean? I don't know. Just a
I
thought.
see what you mean.
It'd be kind of fun.
I see what you mean. That's interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't have to make a new show. They'd just change they'd say like, let's make the Arnold, the New York Pro, and something else.
Yeah.
Those would be shows that like you have to bracket into.
Yeah, exactly.
Only from those shows can you go to the O.
Something like that. I don't know. Something like that.
Right. Yeah. It's, you know, another funny thing I was going to remind people is, you know, that was my 18th Olympia.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
It's crazy.
I don't remember all of them as far as like when they started and when they finished and when we got out of there. Like, it's all just a blur. But I do remember that there was a little phase there, and I seem to think it was like while Phil was Mr. Olympia. But I remember going to the finals at like 7 p.m. and being out of there at 10 p.m.
Right.
Like 9:30. Like, you just went to the men's finals, and first thing was like Branch Warren comes out and does his posing routine. Right into it.
Yep.
You like show up at 7, and after 10 minutes of like welcome to the Olympia and a little bit of a video, you get Branch Warren, you get posing routine number 2, 3, 4. Oh, here's Jay. Here's like, or whoever, right? And then after you've seen all their posing routines, which is the first thing you see,
right?
Then they bring out like the figure, and they do the figure finals. And they like have them all walk across the stage, and then they call the top 5.
Yeah.
Figure's done. Boom.
Yeah.
And then they bring the guys back out for another round of final comparisons, confirmation round. And then they send them off, and then they bring the fucking classic men on, and they give out they have the top 10 posing routines and the awards, and they're off the stage. Like, I don't remember the format, but I remember it just fucking went like punch, 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 and it was done.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's part of it too, though, is to me, for example, like, not only is everyone an adult, but they're all professional athletes, allegedly. So prejudging should matter. Like, you're not in the top 6. Bye. Like, that's it. Like, I know, like, there's people, oh, you got to the Olympia. So this is from a guy who would never even make it to the Olympia. That's part of being a pro. Like, you think the guys that don't make the playoffs in the NFL aren't fucking pissed? Well, better luck next year, kiddo. Adios. That's how it should be. Prejudge, and that's why I also feel like do it on the same day. Men's prejudge, and they hit it in the morning. We all know they more or less know. So let's say they said 7. Maybe it's a number they can alter based on how the lineup looks. And they say these 7 guys, see you tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe next year it's fucking 5, because they know that the 6th place guy is not 5th. Fuck off. Bye. You know, make it quick. Right. Because I do think, I mean, like, you could
make the finals the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
the
done.
Finals.
You know, I mean, we watched how many girls, and this isn't a shot at any division, but I think we watched like every single bikini girl walk across the stage and do what they call their routine. Each one of them takes like minutes.
Right.
And some of those girls are getting 15th or whatever. I don't know how many there were, but it seemed like a ton. And again, they're professionals. If you're not in the top, whatever, few, you don't come back tonight.
Well,
make it quick.
Yeah. I just watched like the Flatland World Championships on YouTube.
So did I, because of you.
And they had like, and I sent you the link. But they had like a battle format. So they invited 16 guys. They had one round, and they scored everyone to line them up in order of how they qualified. And then they seeded them 16-8 or 16-1, 2-15. Like 15, they seeded everybody. And it was a combat thing. So it was pretty cool. Like some guys went out, rode against one guy, they're out.
Yep.
They sit the rest of the day. They rode for like 90 seconds. They didn't win their battle. They're sitting on the sidelines watching the rest of the show.
Yeah.
And it could be the best guy too, which I also think is cool.
Yeah, it could be the best
guy. That's why it works in other divisions, you know what I mean? Or other sports. Like, I don't think that the best team wins in other sports their championship every year.
No, it's all
so
many things come together. That chemistry comes together on a team. It's part of the exciting thing about playoffs and seeing teams get
injuries.
And, like imagine what it would be. Imagine like if like Scott's idea, sort of having like where you had to like bracket up, which is kind of what I mean about the Flatland with the battles and the brackets.
Yeah.
Imagine like, if they made everyone qualify every year too. So Mr. Olympia might show up at his first show and not make the bracket, like not make the top 5, or
that would change everything.
The top 3.
It would change
and
everything
he's out for the year.
About the sport, wouldn't it? It
really think about the money.
So now someone else is gonna it'd be crazy.
Think of the money though. Like I think that's the part that people miss is like people don't realize that to promote a pro bodybuilding show, you have to pay per division that you're having at your show.
Right.
And men's bodybuilding is the most expensive division. So not only are you paying the athletes if they win, you're also paying the IFBB to let them bring their circus to town. Well, how much better for your show would it be if Rami had to qualify, if Nick Walker had to qualify, if all these guys did? Because there are kids that would travel anywhere to see Nick Walker compete in any show he does.
They really would.
Yeah.
And that would be even more special.
To see Nick.
Yeah. So I think that's the other factor. And I think in that same token that what you were saying about the bracket thing is for bodybuilding to truly level up, in my opinion, the IFBB needs to start actually spending some money on making it happen. Like, to me, if the other reason is if I can make 400,000, I'm winning the Olympia, I don't really care to go make $5,000 to win a show. I'm not even going to leave my fucking house for $5,000. If some of those purses were higher, I think you'd see a lot more guys go out for them. There's a reason guys do the Arnold and the Olympia for at least a few years. They want both of those checks.
Yeah. They nail the top spots, or, even top 2 in both those shows that can bank enough money to, really make some moves. You know what I mean? What's Scott looking up? Scott looks like he's searching for something.
Well, I knew we had
porn.
What you guys were talking, you mentioned Nick Walker and porn. I had porn on one window, Nick Walker on another, multitasking, a lot of stuff going on over here, guys.
Great. Okay. Let me see your hands.
I was pulling up pictures of Nick because I remembered when you said him, I was like, oh, I got to prepare. Guys, we had so many listener questions. Remember last week, we had encouraged people right at the beginning of the show for listener questions.
Yeah.
We got so many, and there's a bunch of good ones. One of them was about Nick, and I knew we were going to need to see his lat spread in order to cover that question. So I'm just thinking ahead here. I was just working in the background.
Let's
right,
we can go.
Are you working then?
All right.
Yeah, let's go on to
We should.
questions.
We're ready.
That's fine.
All right. Okay, I'll start here then in that case. Now, Jim McDonald from Patreon has a whole slew of over and underrated all listed together. So we can just hammer through these things.
This is exciting.
First one I don't know about, he says gynecomastia surgery. He's considering it in 2023. I'll just read them all off. Creatine, UGL gear, generic HGH, HIIT Cardio, and upright rows. That's our list.
Nice.
Well,
I actually like these.
Yeah.
I do too.
Okay.
All right, we're starting with gyno surgery, I guess we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, gyno surgery.
Yep.
Is underrated because if you got gyno, you don't want titties on walking around. So underrated no matter how high it's rated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. And also make sure that you have a plastic surgeon do it.
Yes.
And if they understand not to take the
sure
entire gland out, or if they do, put something underneath there so you don't have that little dip.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
And just proper handling of the situation. They'll do a better job.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
What about creatine?
What about you, Scott? You agree? Scott's on board.
Absolutely. There's no
Well,
question.
on board.
And that's a
Yes.
good point too. Go with a good plastic surgeon. No question.
Yeah. Even
Otherwise,
if you gotta pay more or whatever.
a tumor surgeon is what you would normally go to if you went to like your doctor that insurance would cover. They're just looking to remove a tumor. It doesn't matter how it looks. Their goal is to keep your body healthy and safe, regardless of what that crater is going to look like in your chest afterward.
Yeah. Yeah.
No bueno.
Yep. Okay. Creatine. I'm gonna say, because my you know how I say it's the general public's current view of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna say underrated, because I'm meeting young bodybuilders now that aren't on it. And they're like, "Oh, I really should take it." And I'm like, "What did we all?" It's like, all right, it's like it works so well we stopped talking about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like everyone just be on it. Be on creatine. 5 to 10 grams a day. Take it every day. Even
So
and
funny.
then now the cognitive studies that are coming out for old people and dementia patients and stuff are showing the brain like isn't degenerating and isn't, you know what I mean? It's helping to like a prophylactic effect on dementia and brain health. So some very interesting stuff there that's you know looking promising. But yeah, be on creatine.
I have nothing to add to that because it's absolute fact. I can't believe, like you said, that people have gotten away from it. I mean, there's not a single study. It's the most studied and proven supplement in the world.
Yeah.
As far as sports supplement, I gotta be careful what I say there.
So I think one of the things is all the companies are putting a bit of creatine in their drinks.
Yeah,
Right. Like all the pre-workouts have some creatine in them, don't they? Most of them.
A lot of them.
know.
A lot of them are like going creatine free in the last 5-10 years. But yeah.
Well,
in
I guess the
general.
little concentrates probably don't bother with creatine, like the small scoop concentrates.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't be able to fit. But any of the big scoop, like full serve pre-workouts have creatine in them, I think. But they're not talking about it as much. So like a lot of, like I meet a lot of younger bodybuilders, they don't know what creatine does.
Yeah.
Like they might be on it because it's in their pre-workout, but they don't know what it does and they don't understand why it's good. So that's all. You should everyone should know.
I agree.
So
it's funny because I was going to say that same thing because I do think that there was, you know what it is? There was so much hype when creatine first came out and everybody was like, oh, you're going to gain 10 pounds of lean muscle. And that I think since then, so many people are like, oh, it's not that good. It doesn't work that well. And then you try Tren, and Tren works a lot better than creatine. And you're like, oh, just use Tren. And then you forget about the creatine at all, that it ever did anything. But I'm 100% with you, man. In fact, the cognitive stuff, I haven't taken it in a long time for like the very reason you're talking about. Like I've overrated it in the past, but I need to get back on it. So I'm gonna order some literally after we're done talking. I've been meaning to do that.
They have it at IamMutant.com, and you can use the code Dusty20 to save.
What is that, Dusty20?
Or
Dusty
Big Ron 20 if you want. You know, I mean, we said we Eskimo brother it, so back and forth, one every other month.
Yeah.
Oh yes. I think I love that you said that about the trend though, Scott, because that's how I feel about like eating food.
Yeah.
Well, trend works so good, I don't need to worry about my diet. I mean, like the shit that people, yes, dogs are handled. The shit that people do when they get on gear, it, like, you know, Dante pushed that all the time for years, was like, the best way to find out if your plan is working is get off all your shit.
Yeah.
And be making progress on supplements, sleep, diet, and training. Then when you're already making progress, add in a little gear. You already know what's going to happen because gear covers mistakes.
Yep. Sure does.
So,
yeah. I think that's one of the reasons that people don't pay enough attention to their training anymore. They're like, well, I'm on gear. You know, I just train a lot. I do extra sets. I'm growing. It's fine.
But then look at the review. Look at the review of the show with Kuba.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's going off and all he talked about was training.
Yep.
You know, I mean, as far as the debt, like, it wasn't a bunch of conversation of gear. So it's interesting to me because I do think that part of it is kind of like the creatine. A lot of people stop talking about it.
Yeah.
So it's not a subject anymore. It's not that it's not great. It's just it's not talked about enough, you know? Who is it? Who's there?
Yeah, who is that?
Is that the asshole? Is that Parker?
Come on, buddy. Come on.
Parker. Get him up there.
Let's get Parker.
Sorry, we got to see this.
Yeah, we'll
come back to Jim's Parker. Is he a long-haired also? Oh, he does. See?
Oh, he's really cute, though. He's really cute, too.
Look at him. He's fucking in.
So
face lick. Boom. Saw that coming.
Yep.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. You got something to say, buddy?
Yeah. Just that he's a stud.
He's pretty adorable.
He's pretty cute. He's a short hair. He's got those spots.
Yeah, short hair and a long hair.
I like those spots.
Yeah, he's a goofy guy, that's for sure. but he loves a good lap sit. He'll lap sit for 4 hours straight too, as well. Okay, what's next? Underground lab
UGL gear. Yes. Thoughts?
Thank goodness there are some great brands out there that I've seen make really good stuff for long periods of time, but there is still an exorbitant amount of garbage. And I think that, you have to give it an overrated. Do you have to give it an overrated? I don't know. Do you have to give it an underrated? Is there enough good stuff to give it an underrated? See, I'm out of the market, Dusty. I'm not shooting the bathtub trends anymore and the fucking blender masterons and the kitchen stove primos. I'm not injecting.
You know what's funny?
In my body. Kitchen stove primo, huh?
I don't know how good it is.
I never did know, like my entire career, because I always got gear the same way. So people will be like, you know, telling you about some. I'm like, I've never heard of
that chick that you know. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, she's my girl. Hey, she works hard. But no, I mean, it's crazy because the amount of times that I hear about underdosed or crap or abscesses or the things that I've heard people go through, I'm like, wow, I had a whole career without ever dealing with any of that.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
So I'm going to say drastically overrated unless you found one of the gems. And if you did stick to it, no matter what the price is of the other shit, it's probably garbage.
Yeah.
Same thing with generic HGH. I actually never had any. I only ever used good old American quality shit. So no idea.
Okay.
I was an AIDS patient that would give them to me. So there you go.
Yeah, I was going to put both of those in the same category, the UGL gear and the generic HGH. I'm trying to think of something to compare it to, like is red meat good? It's kind of like a real broad question because there's a lot of different red meat. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of different
frequency and dosage, like how much red meat are you eating, and all that stuff too.
Yeah, so I think that you're right. You guys are right that like if there's a good brand that's good. I think the mistake I've seen people make is they'll get good stuff and then they're like, well, I want to try something else. And the more you experiment and try something else, the more risks you're taking. I'd rather just nail it down, use the one thing that you're really confident in and stick with that. You know, I would not say that generic HGH is a great idea, but that's because I don't know where you're getting it from. You know what I mean? There's really good generic HGH out there. I can tell you firsthand, but it's like not all of it is going to be that. So I could.
Yeah, and the chain of custody, with generic GH is a little sus.
Yeah.
So I remember.
Good use.
I spent
good.
I spent a lot. Well, I mean, I got a crazy price back in the day. Like I got it for really cheap, but I still spent a fortune on generic HGH back, in like the, I don't know, I guess mid 2000s, and you know what I mean, before I even knew Dusty, right? And I often wonder, I'm like, I don't think it did anything. I don't think it really did fucking anything, this stuff we were using. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, still the same old grind. But I remember using like omnitropin and being like, oh, like, Chad had my carbs at like 75 a day, and I was like full pumped, right?
For any viewers who listen to that talk from Ron just now, I didn't supply Ron with his growth hormone. Because he just said, before I met Dusty.
Before I met Dusty.
Hold on.
Or gear.
I was never selling Ron growth hormone over the border.
I didn't mean to imply that he was somehow my source of better growth hormone.
I was like, I have something I need to add real quick.
It's a good point.
Man, I have a nice truck, doesn't he?
I never ever used to hire prostitutes before I met Dusty.
Before he became my friend, he was getting them for free.
Before I met Dusty, I wasn't into prostitutes.
I'm sitting there listening to that. All I heard was the way you worded that. I was like, that's not.
That's funny. I heard it too, but then I just let it go. And it was probably a good move to have said something good.
I had a hard time paying for sex before I met Dusty.
See, now it sounds like he was paying me for sex. You see what's happening right now? Oh boy, this is going sideways. I should have left it alone.
Okay,
on to HIIT Cardio.
Could be a new segment. That could be a new segment. Before I met Dusty.
Oh God. Oh,
okay.
Face hurts.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay.
HIIT Cardio. I'm gonna go underrated. I'm currently doing HIIT Cardio, not at this moment, but I'm currently doing it.
Being careful now.
I do it on leg day and I do it on back day. So I do it twice every 6 days. So it's not a lot, but I'm doing it. I go upstairs. We have those Rogue Echo bikes.
Oh yeah.
And those are beasts, man. I love that thing.
Yeah.
And I'll get on it and I'll do 5 maximum effort 30-second sprints. So it only takes me I think it's 8 minutes. And I sort of take 90 seconds between each one.
Right.
But sometimes I'll take 2 minutes, because I'm not too fussed on the rest period if it's 90 seconds or 2 minutes, but I'll make sure I take maybe I'll go 2 minutes if I think it's going to help me get a better sprint. Mm-hmm. And I'll just bang out 5 max intensity sprints. So it only takes it's not that much time, but man, I feel it after doing it consistently for a few weeks. I feel it. I feel like I'm hungrier. I feel like I can eat a little bit more, and also feel like I trained without a training partner for the last week because Braden was sick.
Oh,
and I felt like I was training so fast.
Yeah,
I was just blazing through my workouts. So yeah, it's been interesting.
You do that twice a week, you said?
Well, yeah, twice every 6 days because it's on that rotation.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to agree with underrated. My reason is I think it's great to do because if I could rewind my career, the mistake I made was not worrying about my wind enough to where I found there were parts of my career where sets were ending because my wind wasn't there, not because I didn't have the strength.
Yeah.
I didn't have the cardiovascular strength to do so. So that's that. And then I just wanted to add one thing that Ron and I have talked about, may have been on the show, I'm not sure, but cardio in general, there's only two options. Should be very easy for a longer period of time or very fucking hard for a short period of time. Nothing in between. That's not the kind of cardio you want to be doing for fat loss. That kind of hard for a long period of time, not a great option. Like my cardio when I was competing looked like I was walking. Yeah. And for just longer durations, and it was fine, you know. And there were times that there was some HIIT thrown in there, but again, those were short times because true HIIT is short. I think people use the word HIIT in place of intervals sometimes. And I'm like, that's not a HIIT.
You can't do it for that long either. That's why it's going to be short. Right?
Oh,
yeah.
Not a chance.
I like
it's been interesting.
I like what Dusty said though about there were times in your career that you felt like your cardio wasn't as good as it could have been. I don't think that even like 10 years ago, I don't think we looked at that. You know, we didn't look at that when you were big and you were like, you try to get your seatbelt on and it's like a hassle. Tying your shoes is a hassle. We didn't know 10 years ago that, hey, if you added HIIT in 2 times a week, you might be able to change that while you're at your heaviest weight. That's something that's new.
The thing was, we were very afraid of burning calories back then. It was like, don't do anything extra because you got to eat more.
Yeah.
Like it was like there used to be the argument: why would you do cardio and then try to make up for those calories you just burned? That's dumb.
Yeah,
because we were only thinking it from like one angle. You weren't saying, but I just watched you do a set of 20 on the hack and you almost died.
Yeah.
It's only 20 reps.
I actually have a very simple thing in my head. And I was listening to this dude on a podcast and he was talking about things that make you live longer. And he was saying a good rule of thumb is to get your heart rate up really, really high and huff and puff really, really hard every day. He said, if you do that, that's all you need to worry about. Like, that's how simple, keep it that simple for the dummies, right?
Right.
And if you just do that, it sends this cascade of, metabolic things throughout your system have to do with blood chemistry and cellular metabolism and, oxidation and just blood flow and removal of waste. And like he just said, it's like, we really need to start realizing, like, we think, oh, it's good for me. It's, I'll look better. He says the real hook on working hard and doing the exercise that you don't want to do, like cardio, is when you understand what's going on in your body that's so positive when you do it. And that drives you to do it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, fuck, now that I know what it's doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
for sure.
If there was like a 10-minute action that was really annoying, but you knew that every time you did it, you lived another month.
You do it every day.
How motivated would you be to do it every fucking day? Like, you'd be like, oh my God, you lived another hour or whatever. Every 10-minute cardio session, it would like extend your life. You know what I mean? Like, if you had that sort of thinking, then doing the stuff for health reasons would be easier to do. And I'm in that stage where I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do that. I want to throw some HIIT cardio in and get all those benefits. And, it's like it's a longevity play.
Are you in the health stage?
The health phase?
Are you in the health stage?
Yeah. See, I can actually maybe use that word. Health phase.
Yeah.
Because you don't go back to the not health phase anymore.
No. So that
your DMs explode on that.
My DMs blew up. Some of my clients too. Some of my clients even hit me up, and I was like, "Hey," but they all have a good sense of humor, and they know that I'm just, blowing my mouth off on this show. But yeah, I got some DMs. They're like, "Oh, you didn't like my health phase very much," and I was just laughing. So a few of those.
I do like when we make a comment that's like just out there, and I've had a few people like hit me up offended, and I'm like, I didn't even know you said that. Like, it was never pointed. Like, I didn't say to myself, "This guy pissed me off today."
Yeah,
and you'll have that one, every now and then. I'll get the one person that reaches out, and I'm like, "Bro, I didn't even know you did that." But since you did, you're an idiot.
3 messages about backpacks.
Oh yeah.
Messages about the podcast. Yeah. And I was like, I fucking like them. I actually think they're super nice. I just feel like I'm too old to wear one for some reason. So yeah, maybe I'm jealous.
That's funny.
Just think it's jealousy. I'm not in the club.
I think it's funny because we cleaned that up very blatantly and just said we're fucking old. Like it wasn't like backpacks are terrible. I'm like, I'm just too old to do it. I feel the same way about, like, just for me, about like flat brimmed caps. I see kids wear them. They look cool. They wear them forward. I can wear one of those backwards because I'm old. I've put one on forward and I look like that guy that's trying to pretend he's not old. And he is.
I see that guy sometimes. He'll be like the host of a TV show, and he's wearing like high top. He's like 50 almost. He's wearing like high top shoes and skinny jeans. You know what I mean? And the flat back cap. And Okay, one more because we're running out of time here. Yeah. We're running out of time. We had that last
upright rows.
One. Upright rows.
Overrated.
Overrated, even if they're not rated at all.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody did those anymore.
No, they're actually, I think they're terrible for your shoulder joint. You're not supposed to internally rotate. You know, it's an internal rotation, and the higher you pull, the better contraction you get through the traps, but the worse it is for your shoulders. And so, I mean, I just think they're overrated to load that position.
The only time I like them, they were one of my favorite moves for pumping up backstage, because they would also hit my biceps. And you get that like shoulder trap chest bicep thing going on.
Plus, you're using like a light weight.
Right.
You really this. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Makes sense.
I used to do them at the end of a superset. I had this superset I used to do where I finished with upright rows. You know.
Yes.
Do you guys ever do those?
But I don't do them.
What is it? Meadows 6 ways. We come out. How does he do it? You go. So you real lightweight. Like you could use like
exercise
2.5 pound dumbbells. You go out.
Just lean back. We're going to full demo. Okay, laterals.
Yeah, go.
Full. Yeah. You should have a gun in each hand.
And then up, and then back down, and then back out, and back down. And
I think that right there,
yeah,
you could do online gun workout videos with guys that don't leave their houses. They could hold an AK-47 in each hand, and you could do yes. It could be the Scott McNally. It could be the left. Yeah, that's how you could assess people. Well, put a Glock in each hand and do side raises, and then you could be like, "Oh yeah, we got to work on your strength and your."
When they get stronger, you add like an extended clip.
Yeah, I was gonna say like each, as you get stronger, you add 11 rounds to your magazines now. Now add 12.
See, we got the new Liver King, the next Liver King,
Bullet King,
Bullet King.
But he's on plenty of shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, try them. If you guys haven't done those, they're really a cool finishing move, like at the end of your shoulder day, and all you need is like a 2.5 pound plate, or 5 pounds if you want to go crazy, and do like a couple sets of 20, and it just lights everything up. They're really cool.
And he calls them 6 ways.
Yeah, John Meadows 6 ways.
Yeah. Okay. I know Dusty has the one that we used to always do when we trained shoulders. You call it the Jose.
The Jose's, yes.
What does Jose do?
Yeah, the Jose. Those are fun.
No, but all that is it's doing all of the movements back to back to back. So you're doing like so you grab like 20s or something, and you do 20 lateral raises, then 20 front raises alternating, then lean forward and do 20 rear laterals, something like that. And it's painful. It's just blood,
A lot of blood.
But and what's funny is I'm not, you use the word, so I have to say it. I've never been a big, I don't believe finishers are some great thing.
Yeah.
But I did like doing them sometimes because I just liked lighting them up and knowing there was nothing left. Sometimes you're getting ready to leave, you get done with your last thing. And you're like,
yeah,
I think there's a little left in the tank and I don't want to leave here with that. So you're like, what's the dumbest thing I could possibly do right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to do Meadows 6 ways.
And shoulders are a good one to do that with. I feel like everybody has done that. Like they go down the rack or all sorts of things with shoulders to, really burn them out.
You know what? One of my favorites was JJ Marsh used to do run the rack, but you would go up first, then back down. So you do like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, then 50, 40, 30, 20.
Yeah.
So like
yeah.
90 total reps.
Yeah.
Fuck, brutal. So anyone who just listened to that, do that today. You're gonna love it. It's awesome.
And finish it with some 6 ways.
Yes,
And some upright rows.
Yeah, and some
6
upright
degrees.
rows.
heavy upright rows. Get those
And some
shoulder
two-handed,
joints
some
fucked.
Glock raises.
Yeah,
Some
Glock raises.
Very
17
important.
rounds per mag. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, successful episode.
Yes.
Is that it? We're wrapping that one up? Is that an episode, Scott?
Guys, we have so many more questions, but we are out of time for this one. So
We'll do it on the next episode.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
When we meet again. Yeah.
So we will see you in a few days when we have different shirts on and different hats on. Remember, like, share, subscribe, comment, and
ring the bell.
there you go. Okay. Remember, IamMutant.com. Order. Use the code BigRon20 or Dusty20. That makes them very happy, and then they continue to sponsor the show and all that stuff. And then remember the Patreon. Think Big Bodybuilding has
Appreciate
a Patreon. Hop on the Patreon, throw in, a few bucks, and Scott works really hard to keep all these podcasts moving along. So that's helpful.
I appreciate everybody who's helping out. They're awesome.
Yeah. Okay, Dusty, pink shirt day went well.
It did. I feel good about it.
Okay.
Except for right now, because it's so lit, it's like white. But anyways.
Yeah. I hope everybody enjoyed Parker and Lulu's cameo appearances.
Those are
for
great.
the dog people out there.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Really not.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Okay. I'll see you guys. Remember, it's just bodybuilding.